Everybody's day.
So. Just took the HLBZ height of day clear out. That's it. Everything else was dead.
What was it? Paul, you didn't have a
HLBZ.
good day? HLBZ. Sorry to hear that, Paul. Were you just like fighting the trade or something, Paul? Or okay, not a short trader. Hmm. Well, we gotta go over some short setups then for you. Today was the day where Jay called it out that there was either the market was going to move higher or we were going to reject. We were running into the J lines and on what the daily or something, right? Um, so it was kind of to be expected, I would say. Yeah, right here. We were kind of running into the J lines, and then what I was doing today was I had my chart on like the 15-minute the ES. I was just watching the 15-minute and just watching it whipsaw everywhere.
You had a good day, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a great day today. Today was really good actually. Let's see. HLBZ. Um, I wasn't really watching this one. So what was going on with it? It just started to rip at the open?
Nah, I took just the height of day clear out basically. It was just saw someone uh, called out in the chat that it might be going for height of day clear out because I was watching OBL but it was just grinding sort of sideways. So and I took some losses yesterday on a sideways action, so I thought I'll just leave it alone. And then waited for this at the end, like it stuffed into four five or something. So I scaled in like half and half at the very end of the day.
So you made this work to catch this, or
No, at the very end of the day, I can't trade the open.
okay?
I'm at work,
Oh,
yeah.
that's right. Oh, where it retested for, yeah.
Yeah, so I just like took half position at around 390 something. Where's the annotate?
That worked.
Yeah, somewhere.
This,
I think I got the first entry. I think on this one. No, not this one. Sorry, on this one. I think 393. Because
yeah,
I thought it's
a
like,
little scary.
yeah, I thought it's stuffed and break, and like took it here, half position, and then I was watching like volume closely as well because you could see it was declining volume and grinding up.
Yeah,
So I thought
it
that's
didn't
gonna
really
be,
have the stuffing. Like
but
it didn't keep stuffing.
yeah, this was like sort of I think like last second basically volume came in, but it was like doing all this. So I took 393 half position, and then when this like stuffed, I added another half at around just above four, I believe. So like averaged and was risking literally just above this, and just held it.
Hmm.
Took 1/4 here, and then waited for another breakdown, which never came. And once the market closed, I just closed everything up here.
Hmm. Yeah, that works. Yeah, that was a little scary because it didn't break down on higher volume, right? And then it was pumping at the end of
Yeah,
the day like that.
it was well. I was so quite okay because the golden zone was as well. I think this level was golden zone, so I was watching for that, but it never. I never felt like it gave the confirmation. I was looking like for some sort of pattern, like to get like head and shoulders or something, and like waiting it did this like again like higher, so higher high. Okay, I think I'm not gonna go here. Waited for here, did retest, so I was starting to look somewhere after this one, after second one. Started to look okay, maybe it's like topping out, watching volume and everything, and then retest the 4. And I said, okay, enough hesitation, because that's what I always do. I hesitate like a lot, and then it tanks, and I'm sitting there. Oh man, I knew that I shouldn't, So
That happened.
now I just like try to. Okay, if I see something and I'm like convinced about it, it's like that's it. I'm gonna take it. If I'm gonna, as OTC says, let the variance play out basically. If I'm right, I'm
Hmm.
right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And another thing I'm trying to do is hold my position a little bit longer as well. Like, stop taking like silly covers like, oh, it moved a little bit up, I'll take partial here. Oh, moved a little bit, one tick up, I'll take one here. And then
Yeah.
by the time it cracks down, I'm left with like, 5 shares. It's like, okay,
Hmm.
so my wins are basically not paying for my losses, and you're gonna have losses
Yeah.
whether you want it or not. So yeah, I just literally like took one on the J lines, and then that's it. Set my stop break even and held it because my average was, I think, 396. So it was even above the 5 minute, candle. So I just set it there. Okay, I'll wait for the breakdown.
Yeah. Well, still, I mean, you managed it pretty well. It sounds like, so that's good.
What was the stats on this? I didn't. I was busy, so I didn't miss. So I missed the
I
trade.
think it's like 6 mil float, something like this. 5 mil, yeah. 5 mil, low
Mac,
institutional.
you're muted.
Oh, it was 5 mil float and low institutional.
Low institutional.
Yeah, I think it's 2%, less than
How
two.
about any dilution?
No idea. I didn't do like that much, of a research. I'm not very good with dilution. I don't have like dilution tracker, and whenever I get into filings, it's like gonna take me like half an hour to realize anything.
No, I feel you. I can take a look real quick. Actually, I just gotta get up.
How'd you trade, Mark?
I traded OLB.
OLB.
What's the ticker again? HLBZ.
Yes.
I got a little chunk of OLB too.
Yeah, what's up with that? Right? I saw you trade small cap yesterday.
Yeah, just getting a little feisty, so
That's a bad
Yeah, I
time.
was surprised.
having some fun.
It was a good trade.
That's
If I remember correctly.
that's a
Yeah.
bad time to trade small caps.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
dude, it's not. It's all it is reading the tape and catching the stuff. Like you have to be. You can trade it if you're watching it happen, but if you're not watching it, then yeah, no good. But so I was like watching this in pre-market, and it popped up here, and then like I was kind of watching it like this, and so it popped up on high volume, right? Pulls back on lower volume, so I didn't want to short it there. It made its next pop up lower volume, but higher high, which is once again this is that setup that OTC was walking us through the other day. You remember? And then you're looking for the higher volume to the short side, like the higher selling volume, and then we got it right here. So I shorted it. You could see the tape speeding up. You could see the tape changing. And so I shorted it here. No starter or anything trying to catch the high. And then I just wrote it down. I took a little partial here. Got a pretty bad fill. And then it was really small size. So look at that. I held it through here. And then another partial here. Another partial here when Sean M called it out like he was peeling some off. So I peeled some off too, and that was it. And then I got out here. So, but this was really kind of small size, so nothing exciting with that one.
Yeah, this is what I did. But real quick, HLBZ has low dilution. If you can,
It has low dilution, you said?
yeah, low dilution.
So meaning that they weren't really diluting it.
Yeah, I guess so. But
So
if you could zoom in from that time frame, I can explain my trade real quick on that.
like that.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's see. So with me, what I did with the OLV trade was I saw this make a new high right here just before the market opened, and then I saw that wick. As soon as it broke down past this uh, candle, the high of that candle, I shorted 1/10, and then I looked at the market open. I wanted to see if it could break this high right here. Oh, it's so hard to see that high right there, and it
Mhm.
didn't. It looked super weak, so I went full size right there, keeping it
Okay.
fairly tight, using my stop loss right there. I never went up there. I took a position here off, and then I think I got impatient, so I just took it off here.
Okay. That was a great trade though. Shorten it up here.
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. But from what I've noticed, anytime it breaks a pre-market high, like right at 928 and 929 or whatever like that, or around
Hmm.
that area, um, it tends to open weak like it did today. So but I could be wrong. That's why I only did it like 1/10 of my total size, and then I went full size once I saw that weakness did show.
Cool. And so that was just the one trade. You made it work, and you were done, right?
Yep, pretty much.
Nice. Yeah, that's great. Sometimes these things can be, pretty choppy. So it's good that it just kind of faded right away.
Yeah, like, was your blue your VWAP?
The VWAP's right here. Yeah, this blue line.
So with one of the price targets for a gap and extension is VWAP, right? So I don't really follow Jay's exit rules, but like if I were to go about it, if I wasn't under PDT, I would have shorted the way it did, take some partial at VWAP, then see this stuff and added, and then add exit where I did.
Yeah, yeah, that would
I
work
think
too.
I think right here is when it hit the 200 EMA,
Yeah,
and it
here's
usually bounces off that level too. So that was a good area to cover, but I didn't cover there. I was kind of
okay.
getting greedy.
Yeah, yeah, that is. Yeah, this line here is like I've got like the 250, but yeah, it looks like it would have gotten to the 200 then.
Yeah, I don't actually know how it ended in the day. Did it end below
Yeah, it's
that?
like it's down 214. Let's see, did I even hold it anymore? I think I cut it all off there.
Well, I went lateral for most of the day though.
Yeah,
Yeah, and very tight range as
but
well.
this is why you gotta hold it.
Dang, right at the end, huh? That's
Mark, yo, I got a question for you if that's okay.
yeah, sure.
So like, cause on this stock I took it down to the 3 minute J lines, but then I was trying to like recycle it. When do you have to take it off? Cause you see how it went back to VWAP. Cause I
Um,
asked, yeah, so I asked Jay, and usually, no, so he said that on your like like on your second part, like
what time? Later in the day, you mean?
no uh at around 10. So yeah, so like I shorted it at the top, right? And then I
Okay.
wrote it down, and then I started recycling and like VWAP and like on the pops. Then I started reversing to like VWAP.
Yeah.
And so you see that pop to J lines before VWAP. I shorted that to like recycle. But what
Right.
my question is, like when do you take it all off?
Uh, well, I based it off what I learned from another trader, Kowski, where essentially I didn't do it the way he did it today. I was just kind of impatient. But once it breaks down VWAP and it shows this kind of price action right here, right? I want to see natural rollovers. If it was what do I do? If it was gonna continue to go and fade, like a normal fade, organic fade, right here, it honestly should have kept going down right there. But the
Yeah.
first, yeah, like that's a nice fader right there. But as soon as it popped right here, right, that was kind of shady for me. But you could still recycle there. That's fine as long as it's not, it doesn't take your average down too much. But then as soon as it does VWAP, you see this little stuff. I could say
Mhm.
that that's fine. Uh, recycling some shares there. But as soon as it closes above VWAP, by the rules that I follow, I personally would get out. Um, but if there's any, like, for instance, you see this failure right here, you couldn't keep pushing with that low volume compared to the market open. You could, I guess, maybe take some starters here or put some side position there and keep going. But then you would have been caught up in all this mess too. Like it was go at this point, it was going sideways, but um, that's what I would have done. It should have rolled over like right here, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah. Thanks, got it.
Okay.
Yeah, just be careful. Shorten that like 10-10 pop into
Yeah,
uh,
just
kind
one
of
quick
VWAP.
update. Yeah, market is crashing in the aftermarket. I think Facebook is.
Oh, is
bringing-
it crashing right now?
Yeah. The text.
Cool. Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about this was the volume gondola was not that great. It got better here. So this was the better time with these higher volume kind of pops.
Yeah.
But like Mark said, this was a nice one with higher volume on this short, but then when it reclaimed it, that's a signal that the manipulation and the agenda of the market makers it's not quite normal. Usually they stuff those high volume kind of sell offs and then they break it down to trap people. This was still kind of climbing up after, so
Yeah.
it's kind of giving you some clues that
Yeah.
they're up to something.
Yeah, like
They're
that's
not
so shady.
trapping and breaking it down.
You said it perfectly. It's so shady that it had such high red volume compared to what the volume was prior, yet they immediately reclaimed that. And so, again, but it's like at the same time, I'm not sure what the volume was on this. I'm so bad with memorizing all that stuff. But if was that trading an average around that time like 500K or whatever? Or like,
Yeah, it was around 500K, I'd say. Yeah.
I'm still. I brought this up last time with OTC. I'm still juggling the with the idea, and if you guys can brainstorm, we can come up with an answer together. How you juxtapose between market makers trying to push up a stock to a certain level with low volume because they have much more control with lower volume compared to what's the benefit for them if there was low liquidity on it in the first place? How are they going to find people to liquidate against, to sell off against? Because there's no point in pushing it up, right? If no one's going to take them off.
If it's a lower,
Maybe
kinda-
they want to take it to next day. Keep it up. Release some, recycle some news or something. Drop some, whatever, and then take it to second day, and everyone's like, "Oh, look, it's previous day. It's like 60% up or something." And then second day opens with a higher volume. Everyone jumps in, especially if you think like small caps dead at the moment. So it's like anything that moves, everyone jumps on it. So I suppose if they're able to not spend too much on low volume, just keep pushing it up, not spending too much money, basically keep it up for next day, gap it up, second day gap up, everyone jumps on it, and then do whatever you want to do with it.
So they're relying on more organic price action, push it up. So like they take it up to a level and then see if it can attract a buyer or some buyers, and if they can do that, they'll keep pushing it up. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they want to sell into the buyers, make it look like it's strong, and then all of a sudden they can get a better, average cost when they're shorting it and selling into it.
Yeah, but at the same time though, you can only do that so many times until everyone's like burnt out, and
Well, yeah.
everyone's like is broke from all
But
the.
they're good at their games, that when they have a good day, it's in their, it's not like so much of a great trade. It's more of like, oh yeah, we trapped so hard today and it was great, you know?
But that's got to be based off how much liquidity is on that stock. That's why like the more volume the stock has, right? If it's running on 100 million volume a day, they can trap as many times as they need because they know there's always going to be people there to take their position out. But if it's running low volume like this, like it didn't even go up to 2 million any of the 1 minute volume bars. It's like
I
they
mean,
can only do it a limited amount of times before it's just wasting money on their end.
it made it to 80 million shares traded. That was pretty good, I'd say.
Oh, was it 80 million?
Yeah, you see that?
Oh,
And
So,
okay.
and I mean, someone posted, I think, in Boiler Room that I think CEO bought 300k shares for 570 or something, quite recently. So no, wait, was it this or yeah, OLB I think,
That's LBC, right?
or HLBC. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, that's a different one.
Well, now that I think about it, like what until 3 o'clock or 2:30 or whatever, it was going lateral all day. If it was natural from the very beginning, it should have faded. But they kept propping it up over and over. Like right here, oops, my pen is gone. Right here, they propped it up. Right here, they propped it up.
yeah.
Like what retail buyer wants to buy that? It's only natural that you would think that it's the market maker. And then since it's going lateral all day, can you zoom out to see most of the day? No, okay, yeah. And like it's only gone up that much and it didn't even test that high right here. Like no wonder they finally gave up right here, you know? Like they were propping it up here, propping up here, propping up here over and over again. And no one was taking the bait, I think. And feel free to disagree with me if you believe differently. But like, what was the incentive for them if no one was gonna, let's say, break it here and push it up even higher? But instead, it just broke down here. They tried to reclaim it one more time, but no one bought, and so it just started dwindling down until they finally broke it around there. That's what I'm starting to think.
Mark, I kind of felt like there were no shorts to squeeze anyway. So near the end of the day, they probably couldn't even squeeze it that high because there weren't any short sellers shorting. But
Yeah.
that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, they could have been trying to paint a picture. Like one of the ways they try to trick people is like they make the high right here, then the lower high, and lower high, right? And then they start bid propping, right? Like right here. And then all the shorts that shorted here are cutting their losses, which pushes it up. Then all of this shorts here pushes it up even more here and here, right? It's not really doing that, It's all fairly lateral. And no one was
True.
one was buying around the top to push it up, and then there's no shorts that were really shorting the weakness because again, it's lateral.
Yeah, it just, I'm not too sure what the answer is for that one, but it just didn't trade well. There
Yeah,
just hasn't been the best small cap action.
I think they gave up on it for sure. Like I think they wasted a lot of money and just dumped it at the end. I could be wrong, but that's what I think.
I wonder if Leo was in any positions. Short in the, yes, that was a pretty good dump right here for the end of the day. Look at that, running right into the J lines and then just fading on the daily. It was perfect. Looks like we could have a pretty nice leg gap down tomorrow, but never know. Okay, let's keep cruising. Let's see here, just real fast. This was a PayPal trade. I mean, I can't believe how PayPal went down so much today. Like, I know it's been trading pretty bad overall, but I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's actually a pretty good company, I think. It's better than all the other random payment apps. And yeah, what a huge gap down
Well,
here.
what was the news on PayPal though?
I think it was bad
PayPal
earnings.
had results yesterday, so I think the results did not meet 100% with their guidance they gave last quarter.
Yeah, they lowered it, didn't they? And then the margins were dropping.
Yeah, and the other thing is PayPal is heavily invested in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin dropped today morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that'll do it.
Yeah, that's why it looks super weak.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
starting to watch a little bit of S&B and looking at big caps. So if I start participating, don't mind me. I might be wrong a lot though.
Do it, man.
Thank
You know, it's good to trade, I think, both because sometimes you get some amazing opportunities with small caps, and other times you get great opportunities with big caps. This is the
Yeah.
trade on PayPal. Kind of hard to see, but let's see if I can zoom in here. Right here, short, peeled some off because yesterday things were like not working. So partial pretty quickly, peeled some off here, and then actually I held all the way to here, and then I added more, peeled some off, added more, peeled it off out all the way here. So this is a pretty good trade. And you could kind of see here. So this was the clues for today. Paul, for shorting the big caps, this is the clue. Is like on these pullbacks, look at how low the volume is here. So this was the key today to trading everything short and knowing when to kind of short it. Obviously, don't do too big a size. Maybe start with a feeler engagement order, whatever OTC calls them, engagement trade, and yeah, volume like that. So just shorten these little flags, work perfectly. And let's see, study. Yeah, it was right off the 9. Like this thing was working right off the 9. So that was that. And then I think that there was a pretty good trade when it made it back to the J lines right here. We zoom in on it here. Let's see. That one would have been a little bit more tricky. It did have some elevated volume here and some lower volume here on this sell-off. So decent little J line rejection here and a VWAP rejection here. Could have got a scalp out of it. So that was the clue kind of for that. And then just to show you guys on AMD, let's see. So it started selling off super hard. I put in like just a feeler size. Like this is really small size. Just buying it pre-market low to see if it was going to pop back up because it had such a large gap up over earnings, and then it continued to roll over. So I just cut it off. It sold down. I didn't chase into it, and then I started to wait for the first pullback here. And you can see here when it gets up to VWAP and pre-market low, it was pretty low volume here. So that was a great short opportunity. I've been calling it out. There has been a whole lot of VWAP rejections that have just been so nice to trade. Let me switch this to the 20. And just lately, when the VIX has been a bit elevated, I've been switching the 9 to the 20, and I'm like, look how nice that would have worked. You had pre-market low, VWAP, and the 20 moving average here. So, shorted there, pretty low volume. It stops down, it pops back up here, and then it was on low volume once again. So I shorted it. I think I got shook out right here. I was kind of shorting this like inside bar break. Actually, it doesn't look like it was an inside bar. It might have inched lower, but I tried to short it here and just covered it. And then what I did was, as it was going down and I saw kind of volume a bit better than than the buying volume. And I was reading the tape, watching the tape come through. I shorted again, scalped some off, held through this. Actually, let's see here. Maybe I didn't hold through that one. I might have just peeled it all off right here. Let's see. Why did I peel it all off? I can't remember why, but I took it all off here. I think it was like just the 125 level. And then we start getting the pullback. And then this is where it started to get pretty fun. So it pulls back, right? Hits the 20, which the 20 we know worked one time here. So expecting it to work here. It starts to sell off. What's the clue not to take this one? The volume, pretty bad. So pretty bad sell off volume here when the sellers are trying to respond. So let it keep going higher. Wait for VWAP. I was looking for a VWAP rejection. I tried it here. Still kind of a low volume right here. Some elevated buying, and then we were starting to get some response on the selling. I shorted it here, small size, and then it pops up, added to it again. This was like kind of the clue to add the third time was we had this candle here, which was like buying up, and then it sold down, ends at higher selling volume. And then this candle here a little bit lower. And then so I added more here. And I mean, these are pretty small feelers. My stop would have been probably right here, pre-market high. And added more there. Started to see the volume come in. Saw the tape light up red. And then I just held it all the way, partial through here. Then when it makes this pullback here to the 20, we're below the 20, back into it. Look at the volume. It's lower volume here. This was the lowest selling volume, and this is the highest, buying volume of this little pullback. It was really low. So then what do? Add to it and partialed some off, add some more, partial, let it work its way down. Added here, and then I stopped out. And then I took another trade here off of the 20, short here, and then partial, and then I think it was all out right here. Oh, nope, I kept trading. And then just another short here, elevated volume, really low volume here. So the volume was the clues today. If you were watching like just the time in sales and then paying attention to the volume, it kind of gave some really nice clues. So like here in this area, it was really low buying volume. And then when it popped up and made a new 1 minute high, the sellers took control and then sold it back down. It popped up again, still fairly low volume, pops up in a VWAP, or not in a VWAP, sorry, the 20, and then you start to see it fade down on like a faster tape movement, and just short it again. And then this was for a break of low of day, which is kind of like right here. So I was shorting here for the break through low of day, partials through here, partial down here, and that was it. And then I think I was out at break even somewhere. Oh, I got out at break even here. I was like holding just a little piece, and then I went and got some food and just I was done. But yeah, just playing this leg down and then this leg down, and this pullback here was just on lower volume. And what kind of was in my mind today was that we had this great leg up for the good earnings, right here. I mean, this thing jumped 12-13%. So what I kind of thought was, is this thing going to do an under over and then go even higher? Yeah, it could if the market's going to kind of let it. But if the market kind of fades down, why wouldn't if I was the market maker buying it here, and then I got this move up, and now I'm like really up on the position, I'm going to be selling into everybody here. You know what I mean? So I just played the leg down, and it worked pretty well. And it was below pre-market low, so that's the clue too. You know, don't be shorting unless you're below the J lines, preferably below pre-market low.
How do you
So-
rectify, at least for big caps, what market makers will do versus how the street will react? Because if they raise the guidance here,
Mhm.
I feel like the street would react fairly positively, right?
Yeah,
toward
but
that news.
because people will react positive, unless there's like this wave of strength that the market makers need to go with them, then that's one thing. But if there is like a wave of buying, then why wouldn't the market makers use it as an opportunity to sell into them, into all those buyers? Right?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if there's going to be a ton of buyers, of retail buyers, not kind of market makers buying, it's mainly like retail buyers. Yeah, there's probably institutions, things like that too, but there's going to be a wave of buying, sell into it. And that's what happened today. You know, it pops up here. Everyone's like thinking, "Oh yeah, AMD, let's trade this thing long." You know, and then what happens is that they just use every opportunity to sell into them. And so it just made a leg down, and the market was going down too. And another example of that is like if we go to Apple, let's see, Apple or Tesla yesterday. So Apple on Monday, let's see, here was today. That was yesterday, and then this was Monday. Okay, so Monday we got this right on Apple, just a super strong move up. The whole market was moving up, right?
Yep.
So Tuesday, every retailer gets to their computer and they're like, wow, what an amazing day on Monday. If you didn't get the leg up and catch this move and trade it properly, which I kind of messed it up, then Tuesday you're showing up to the computer like thinking, okay, let's see if we're going to get a second day, you know, power move and try to trade that better. What happens on the next day? It just ends up trading like garbage, and they sell into everybody, which was super annoying, but it just happens, you know. So
Yeah, like because one of the things about big caps that I always thought, because it seems like you're talking so counter trend right now, but like one of the things I always thought was like a cruise ship, right? It's hard to turn a cruise ship once it's going a certain direction.
Mhm.
And if Apple was having such a good day on day one and it closed fairly near the high of that day, I would assume that it would, just based off the people behind it putting
Mhm.
so much money, continue to push it up the second day.
yeah, but the thing is it is kind of the cruise ship analogy, but we're not in this like bull market of just grinding higher every single day. We're in a different kind of environment right now. So just kind of like one more time on this Apple, it ripped up on Monday. It kind of grinded higher here. Then in the pre-market, had a really tight range. You think that it can go even higher, which it could. And then what do? They just sell into everybody and then just, you know, move it down. And then it kind
Yeah,
of just chopped.
I feel like one of the things I would have looked for, just based on what I learned from SMB, is like, see that consolidation. Oops.
Oh, sorry. Let me go back.
It was like instead of like trying to buy into it and market open, there was that tight consolidation, and whatever that bottom was in that tight consolidation,
Yeah.
you look at the tape once it reaches that support and see if it'll bounce off that, and then that's when you put a position in.
Yeah. Yeah. And SMB, they start with a core size of like what can move, you know, $1 with a really wide stop, and then they start building. So if it does start to climb up higher, then they start to trade with the trend and build into the position and then scale out and leave the core and then scale back in and then scale back out.
Right. Right.
But
Like,
which that does happen when the market is every day like this, you know, like when we're here in the market, or here in the market, that's the cruise ship that doesn't turn very fast, right? But when we're like here, and then you guys all know we've got a rejection coming up, you know, and then we had this like perfectly balanced range for, you know, a week. So it's just a different environment, and this is what messes people up with trading, is like they had something that was working, and then all of a sudden this happens in the market, and then might as well throw your other strategy out the window, right? But it will come back the former way. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of what's been happening. The VIX is going back down, so you can start to tighten up the stops a little bit more, and refocus on the 1 minute chart compared to the 5 minute. But yeah, that was really it, I think. And kind of Nvidia did the same thing today with a pretty good sell-off. It spiked up, had a really tight pre-market range here, like that. Had this really nice pre-market range, and then what does it do at the open? It dies and just sells off. I tried to short it, covered for a loss here on Nvidia, and then because I didn't have my stop wide enough, I was going for the VWAP rejection. I didn't have the stop wide enough, and then I missed a pretty good leg down. And same thing here, like this. When you look at Nvidia, you got pretty elevated selling volume, and then the pullback up here was on lower volume. So, you know, it means that if stronger selling volume comes in, it can move down quickly. You know, and then they want to let it go up on low volume so they can trap some shorts or you know, sell into the buyers. You know, they're playing their game. So got a pretty good J-line rejection, and then just faded it down. So yeah, so like today, what was helping me the most was just recognizing volume and reading tape, because then you can catch that perfect time on the flag pattern. You know, the tape will be green when it's pulling back. You know, when you're here and you're pulling back for 5-10 minutes, the tape is green, sprinkling green, and then all of a sudden it reaches like a level, whether it's here, this like low, you see that? It reaches here. And then at this level now, we want to see the change, the reaction, what's going to happen. And we already know that the sellers are in control because they were pushing it down. This thing didn't even get to pre-market high today. That means the sellers are in full control. And you play off of a level, and then what happens? It starts to speed up, can't even get through the level, and the tape speeds up. You start to see red, and then you just kind of go with it. So that was kind of the story with big caps. I mean, volume is key, and tape reading. I've been testing this this tape out, just kind of having fun with it. But I took all the inside numbers, which are normally like you see it kind of like this. You know, you see the inside bid and ask, and I turned it black, so that way all I'm seeing is like the above the ask and below on the ask or on the bid, I mean, excuse me. And
Was that helpful, Eric? So removing that orders, I mean dark pool orders. Okay, so you'll be able to gauge only two guys there, correct?
what'd you say there, Roman?
Yeah, so was that helpful, removing that white orders, like, I mean, the dark pool orders?
Yeah, it's the inside
Yeah,
the bid and ask.
Okay.
Yeah, it just makes me focus on what's happening on the bid or on the ask, and then I'm not
Okay.
missing any of the big orders because I have all the big orders here. So like this big order that happened inside the bid and the ask, it printed right here. So I'm seeing still the big orders here, but then I'm able to kind of read the tape with less noise.
Yeah.
So just something I'm kind of testing out.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, I think that is a good idea because I mean, sometimes when I when I try to read the tape, all these white numbers, no, so I think that is the dark pool numbers, right? So they are
No,
totally
white is, it means it's inside the
inside.
bid and the
Okay,
ask.
okay,
So it's
okay,
like in between.
yeah, okay, okay, yeah. So I mean, it is helpful, I guess. Let me try it that way.
But yeah, I mean today like you could read like these like pops that were happening and it was
Mm.
showing like some green on the time and sales, but then you could see the red was like uh, kind of letting it happen. Like it would take a lot of green. You'd see a bunch of green come through, but then you look at the candle and it only went up like
A
a
little bit.
small bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So like for it to move higher, I mean it took so much buying, so much energy. And so you could kind of see that and read that. There'd be like a ton of green coming in, but then the candle moves like not even an inch. And then once the red starts coming through, the thing starts just dropping.
Mm.
So I've said this to you guys before, but when you're reading the time in sales, it's not just if it's green or if it's red. It's you take if it's green or red, and then you kind of look at the candle and see the reaction to what the candle is doing. So if there's a ton of green happening and the candle's barely moving up, you got to be careful. And then when if there's just a little bit of red coming through and then the candle's dropping, you can see the relationship, of what's happening on time sales to the candle. So there's a relationship between the two. It's not just one or the other. You kind of have to combine it. So yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
got to do.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yes, I was trying to read the tape, and I mean, I was getting confused because now it need lot of experience. So let it come.
Yeah, but like go record your screen and go back and watch it, and that's the best way. That's the best way. And because in replay and DAS you get the time and sales also, you can kind of rewatch it that way too if you didn't record your screen.
Watch that short video on a tape reading. I think it's like 2.5 hours or something.
Yeah, that video I was just watching this past week, and I was studying it with JD, one of the mentoring students. We were kind of watching it and talking about it, and yeah, I mean, that's a really really good video. I mean, that's an
Yeah,
amazingly
it's good because he
video.
as well like stops the because he watches the recording as well, watches the tape recording and basically stops it at some levels and like explains like correlation with the level two and the actual
Yeah,
tape sort of thing. It's quite a good video. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, that video, like you need to watch it at least 3 times, and the video is 2 hours and 40 minutes. So here, let's see, let's pull this thing up real quick.
So which video you're talking about?
I'm gonna share it with you guys right now. This video right here. This guy,
Okay. This is
the short bear.
short bear.
So he like goes through, he explains to you, this is like the tape in the level two. So here's like the tape, okay? And when you see a lot of green, which is happening on the ask, that means that, it's strong. And then on the level two, here on the level two, you're seeing a bunch of bids stacked up. You see 1919 and then there's a 0 here, just like that. So this would be considered like almost a strong tape. You could say like it's strong here on the level two, and then on the ask, there's not that many. And like this is kind of like in the form of a ladder, where sometimes you have this straight up and down like a ladder, level two they call it. But yeah, so watch this video, and then he explains balance, and then he also explains like a hidden buyer, for instance, like hidden strong or hidden weakness. So for instance, right now, we know the market was just selling off like crazy. There's bids that are stepped up here. So it looks like it's like this, where there's a bunch of strong bids. Maybe there's some green on the tape, but then the price can't move up. Every time it goes up, you see a bunch of transactions go through, but then it doesn't move an inch. So maybe there's just like a 1 here, but then you see a bunch of transactions happening on the time and sales, and then you know that there's an iceberg there. There's a hidden seller that's like, holding the price down. So I'll share this with you. This video is like 2 hours and 40 minutes, and then so he explains this. He explains it like from like kind of nothing, saying like, all right, here's level 2, this is this, and then he goes on and then says, you can't watch the tape and level 2 and the time and sales, which together is the tape. You can't watch it all day, but what you need to do is watch it at these key levels. So for instance, let's say we're shorting a big cap, or I'm sorry, a small cap, sorry. Let's say we're shorting a small cap, we get this pop through high a day, pre-market high. That is the area you really want to be watching the tape. And that's the area where we want to pay attention to what's happening. Is there hidden sellers? Is it lighting up red? Is it still green? And they're trying to move the price higher and the bid keeps stepping up. Let's say we break through the $2.40 level on OLB or whatever it was. When it breaks through, two things are going to happen. It gets through the price, and then all of a sudden all the buyers disappear right after, or the price keeps notching up higher, and then the bid steps up, and the bids keep stepping up. So he's watching the tape at these key levels to see, is the bid continuously stepping up and we're actually going to move higher, or is it flushing down with a stuff, and we see a lot of selling on the tape and hidden weakness. So he kind of explains all that, and then he goes on to kind of explain like where these levels are that you want to be watching the tape. And then he also goes on and then shows examples, and he kind of like explains it. I mean, you got to watch this video like a bunch of times, and then you record your screen and do it on your own.
Yeah.
So let me share this again. OTC shared this, and as you can see right here, this video is unlisted. So that means like someone paid for a course and then shared it all around, which was really cool of somebody to do. But
Yeah, that was in the Madaz thing. I had that. I watched that like last year.
did you do that course?
The Madaz thing?
Yeah, did you?
It's not really a course unless you do it with like the private teaching thing, but there was one that was like $99 a month, and the amount of videos you got for that small amount of a price was amazing. And also, you just like how you do does the morning sessions and trades live, Madaz did that with you. And I remember I asked him a bunch of questions when I was in his room before Jay.
Cool.
The price is good for the content though, for sure. And that was the short bear one that you just showed us. That was one of them.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'd like to watch more videos by that guy. I mean, he made like 25 million last year trading, which is just nuts.
Dude's also freaking tall. He's like 7 foot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. So, anyways, I'm gonna share it in here. Irish, Janine, can you share your process of how you first learned to read the tape? How long it took you? Okay, so. Wait, whoops! I just sent that as a direct message. Hang on. I'm sharing it in here, so you guys copy it out of here because I don't want to share it in the thing. But Janine and everybody had to learn to read the tape. So what I did was I just went on YouTube, and then I just looked up time and sales, and then I spent like what I told myself is I'm going to spend 1 month on each item. So I spent a whole month watching videos on just the time and sales, like any video I could. I was watching it, I was recording my screen, and I was just focusing on time and sales. And then after about a month, I spent a whole month on level 2, which you can spend like 2 months on level 2. Just learning it, understanding it, just making sure you understand every piece clearly. And if you just go on YouTube and just type in, let's see here. Time and sales. So like all these videos, you should watch every single one. time and sales. There's some like basic stuff, you know, time and sales, why it's important, how to read the level two in time and sales. There's like buried in YouTube, there is some really good videos somewhere in here, and you got to go through. This is another decent one right here. So go through and just watch all these. Look, here's a video from Jay. Oh, this is for me. That's why.
Oh, I have a channel if you guys want to check it out. It's called, the guy's name is Reading the Tape. Actually, I'll post the link.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so you guys, I recommend doing it that way. Don't be in a hurry. Just say, okay, for the next month, I'm going to focus on time and sales. The month after that, I'm going to focus on the level 2. The month after that, I'm going to focus on, you know, Fibonacci levels. The month after that, I'm going to focus on, you know, volume by price and VPA. And just spend a whole month on the subject, because after 1 month of studying it, you will really be good at it. But, you know, if you watch 2 videos and then you kind of don't focus as much on it, then it doesn't get ingrained. I think there's a difference between, you know, your short-term memory and your long-term memory, and making it stay in your brain. So, anyways,
and I think
so that's that.
good idea to watch different, like you say, like, you know, just watch all of them, because at
Yeah.
some point, as you watch like from one person, you sort of end up like in a echo chamber sort of thing. But
Yeah.
if you watch different ones, and then you'll start noticing what all of them talk the common things, because
Yeah.
one might be looking different way, another one might be looking a little bit different way, but
Mhm.
the more you watch, you start seeing the common thing that they all have, and that's the thing you sort of need to concentrate on, because
Mhm.
that's the main thing basically. You know, it's like whenever you like go on Twitter or whatever, it's like all the decent traders basically talk about first thing is risk management, not, you know, to the moon or anything, risk management, and you'll see that it's over and over again with from every decent trader. So
Yeah.
that's, you need to pay attention to to that
But
thing
like
first of all.
with researching like this style, kind of, you'll watch all these videos each day, spend an hour or two watching videos, and 70% of it, like in like a couple days, you're gonna understand it, and then 70% of all these videos, it's gonna be like telling you the exact same thing, and it's just gonna be boring. But then in 1 or 2 of these videos, maybe a few of them, there's gonna be just this nugget of gold that some guy explains something that it will just dawn on you. And that's how it works. Like, that's how researching things on YouTube works. It's like you'll spend a bunch of time, you'll hear the same thing over and over and over again, and then in a hour-long video there will be like this 3-minute section where he explains, like, oh, when you see a bunch of green on the tape but then the candle's not moving, you know, that's telling you something. And so you got to like watch all these videos to find those little nuggets of gold.
And also in the mentorship room, I posted 2 channels that
Perfect.
just straight up record level 2, and you'll have plenty of tape to watch there.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of recorded tape there. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, this is a great way, you guys, if you don't record your screen. I saw this one, the tape to play. That's pretty good that they do that. You can go back and watch some of these small caps.
So that is in okay, in the same room, right? General chat.
Yeah, it's in the mentoring chat. Okay, so that was that. Yeah, just what a great day today was. Yesterday, not a good day for me. Today, better. And then yeah, let's just keep going through charts. Okay, we got this one by Remen here.
Yeah, that is Tesla options. So I had Jay was calling it, but no, and that time I was focusing on Nvidia, so I couldn't enter at the beginning. So I saw the day low, so I just thought, okay, let's see if it is breaking the day low. Take an entry, and I got that entry over there, and it was just 2 puts. I quickly scalped out two of them, and then I just waited for the next entry. And the next entry also, I just got a Viva projection, that white line over there, the Viva projection. But no, I mean, I have already marked the levels, so the Viva projection didn't move a lot. It just came, yeah, it just move a little.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see this one. So this white line is VWAP. I took that VWAP projection, and I have already marked this level up to, just I pointed from here up to the J lines, and that was not able to cut below this. So I just quickly out of this level, and then I was looking for this entry that is for the J line rejection. I took entry over here, right here, and since it did not break over here, I take one out and then stopped out the last one.
Yeah, and then how come you didn't take the J line rejection though to get that whole? This?
Yeah. So I mean, I took the three entries, right? It's two over here, two over here, two over here. So my account was done. And so this was a perfect entry. So I was
Mhm.
just ignoring these two entries. I was just waiting for this one. It could have been a good
Yeah,
trade.
yeah. So, kind of just what I was talking um, about volume. Look at the look at you played this perfectly. You got the moves and you made them work, which is great. But look at the volume on these pulling back candles. This is supposed to be moving down, but when it's pulling back, look at the volume on the buyers.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and then when we get to here, the volume really starts to fade out, and then any pullback here, there is no volume. Like look at this. Let's see, what time was that? Like 10:20. Let's jump to Tesla, because that was a great entry there. Was that was today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right here.
Mm.
So here we got this move down, VWAP rejection, pre-market low rejection. I've been calling those out all week. Guys, just pay attention to this. If we get below pre-market low on the big caps, when we pull back, wait to see if there's a VWAP rejection. It's the setup that has been working, I'm telling you. And so then it sells off, and then when it starts pulling back up, look at here, and then look at this buying volume, pretty strong, and it moves up pretty well. So that's a signal to be careful to reshort. And then it pulls up more, and then now here on the 20, when it's the seller's turn to respond, it's like a ping pong, game or tennis match, that you got the buyers doing their volley, and then it goes back to the sellers, and now it's the seller's opportunity to show how they're going to play. And this thing doesn't sell off with very good volume here. Pops up here. This was actually pretty low volume, so this one was not bad with the VWAP rejection here. Super low volume right here. And then the sellers had some stronger volume here. It just wasn't that clean. That was a little difficult. And then it starts buying up again, a little bit lower volume here at 10 o'clock. You get this like 10 o'clock push. Every day at like 10 or 11, you get this like push of volume that comes through. And then looking at it, kind of how you traded it, here was higher volume, and then it faded back down. That was decent volume here, but the volume wasn't so strong, in my opinion. And then let's see here.
Yeah, in fact, Eric, I was not focusing much on the volume bars because I was
Mhm.
focusing on the chart and I was trying to look on the tape. So I totally forgot about the volume bars.
Mm-hmm. Like look at this 10, 11 inside
Yeah.
bar at J lines below pre-market low,
Yeah.
low volume. So what do? That is like a perfect short entry for a J line rejection right here.
Mhm.
Your stop loss is going to be right here. Entry wherever you want in this candle, and just ride this thing down. And yeah, so just I only say the volume stuff because eventually when you get really comfortable at seeing the patterns, seeing the flags, all that, you need to look for more. It's not just about the chart. There's going to be more to it that is going to give you clues on when to hold the trade, how to trade better, when to size up on certain days, and when to not size up. Like yesterday, Jay got stopped out of like all his trades, or a lot of them. I did too, and that's not the day, you know. When you and I asked him later, I was like, okay, how do you know when you're supposed to be cutting the trade fast and when you're not? And it's like, if it's working or if it's not. I mean, it's not really the answer that I wanted, but that's the truth. Is like, it's either coming back to your break even quickly, so just get out, or the trade is working and it's never getting back to your break even. So yeah, just pay attention to the volume, pay attention to time and sales when you're looking for these like flag patterns and stuff, because in a day like today where the sellers were kind of playing their game, it was a pretty good read.
Yeah, so there is one more interesting thing out there is that 9:35 there is yeah, around 9:35 ish there is 9 EMA 20 EMA crossover happened, and that was a good push down. No, 9:35.
35.
Yeah, somewhere here.
Oh, 9:35. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Thinking. Yeah, this was a good move right here.
Yeah, so I'm trying to watch that crossover now. If it is very close to the J lines, it is bingo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, if you look on here, it is very close to the J line and here as well.
Mm-hmm.
9 and 20 crossover, that is a good indication.
Okay. And let's take a look one more time here. I want to pull up the 5-minute. So 9:35 crossover, which would have been
Yeah, it's in the 1 minute, 1 minute.
right. Yeah. But what I'm looking for is it would have been right here, right? It was
Yeah.
at 9:35
Somewhere 9:35 ish. No,
or like
you're
closer
right,
to 9:40.
Yeah, correct. Not that's the one. Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, when you're reading the 5-minute, which Jay yesterday was like, I was looking at his chart and I was thinking he was scalping really fast, but he was actually on the 5-minute. But you know, when you're trading the open too, we have this huge sell down. It buys back up. It makes a new 5-minute high, and then I always pay attention to the first 5-minute high of the day. After 9:30, I mean, the first 5-minute high, because that's potentially one of the strongest momentum moves of the day. It can be. And then what happens on this one? It breaks out, probably trapped a bunch of longs, and then faded back down and closed here. So now you're looking for this
Yes.
kind of breakdown right here through this level, and then your target is here, low a day. So that crossover was kind of happening here. I mean, this is right where you took the trade, I think, maybe right around here.
Yes.
So I mean, this
just
was a
did-
great trade
Yeah,
because
a
you had
little
the
bit below.
5-minute in your favor. What'd you say?
No, I just took a little bit below after the day low, 942 or 43 something. Yeah.
So this is, but what I'm saying is using the 5-minute.
Yeah,
This is
that's
key.
good. Yeah.
You know, sometimes we like get short on a pullback, like let's say here or something, but then when you look at it, if you glance, like you're thinking, oh, this is going to be a perfect rejection right here, and then you look at it on the 5-minute and you're just like into this, you're shorting into this what potentially could be a strong, you know, 5-minute move, or you know, the start of a 15-minute move. You know what I mean? So always when you're taking these trades, glance at the 5
Yeah.
or the 15, because then you're seeing where you're at. So yeah, just some thoughts. You know, Tesla runs into pre-market high, makes a new 5-minute low here. This would have been a little difficult to trade, but you would have got a great fade right here. stop loss at VWAP. So same thing here. Kind of you get this little move, 5-minute indecision bar. It's actually some increasing volume, but it can't really go up. It's not really going up very strong. So if you have equal volume from here to here, 45 to 50, and this thing's struggling to go higher, look at the same amount of volume on the selling side pushed it down this much when it took the equal volume to kind of be here on a doji candle on the 5. So yeah, you know, VPA is pretty important.
And
Yeah, that is a really cool, Eric. So the 5 minutes. So I was just looking here in my chart as well. The 5 minute gives more conviction, right? So yeah.
can you
Yeah,
show
you know when to
can you
to
show
hold it
your
longer.
your screen, Eric?
Yep.
With 5 minutes, what I'm trying to do, because you very well, at least I very rarely see 5 minute stuff like this. You usually get always like, so when you wait for a push, this is pushing up. So rather than, oh, this like, 9 EMA or whatever, I'll enter here. Always like, so wait for, I try to wait for 5 minutes to close. So on each push, even like this, let's say. So if this push at 9 EMA, yeah, and I'm like waiting for another candle to open and see what it does. So even if you like follow this candle, if you enter like somewhere, you see it failing, enter here, you can sort of tight risk. But usually wait for like key levels, so like Jalen's or whatever. So this close there.
Hmm.
So wait for this push. That's 5 minute close here. Open up. You see it failing. So it basically gives you, your conviction to enter.
Yeah.
Same thing here. You wait for this to close. Of course, you miss like all this, move. But once it closed and you see this, you get your trend line break, and this 5 minute basically you enter on this one somewhere here or here, wherever you
Hmm.
want. You pick the move. So, because I tend to do that, used to do that a lot, like anticipating on 1 minute chart, and I see, oh
Hmm.
look, it's so extended. I'm gonna enter here, and oh look, it's more extending. Get stopped out here. Oh, that's it. I'm entering on this one, and then it pushes more. Get stopped out, pushes more. So now I try to wait. Like look at the counter on a trade zero. Chart. It's got the counter when it's gonna close, and then like
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
and then accordingly read the volume. I'll look like, okay, there's like 10 seconds left, and this was high buying volume, and then on the next candle, volume is somewhere only around here with 10 seconds left to close. So I'm like, it's probably
Hmm.
not gonna be higher, and then it closes, okay, and then I get my sort of confirmation or whatever. Okay, I'll enter now.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I mean, I wasn't even getting into the time, but you're absolutely right. Like, I am taking my trades also with the clock because I'm saying, okay, this thing just punched through, and now it's closing right near pre-market low, right? And at the same time, what do we have here? The J lines here on the 1 minute. So I'm watching the 1 minute, but I see the 5 minute closing. And then when I'm taking it short early on, let's say into this new 5 minute, two things are going to happen. It's either going to pop up right away and start making a new 5 minute high. But if you think about just how candles are in general, I mean, almost every candle has a top wick and a bottom wick, right? I mean, occasionally you get some super strong strength in it, like this one, it opened up and shot up. But on this new 5 minute candle, you can short it here. You've got the J lines here, and then you're kind of saying to yourself, okay, I'm expecting at least a 5 minute candle to make a punch down to maybe it'll buy back up and close as and that will be the bottoming wick. But if you use the clock and you're kind of saying, okay, this 5 minute candle just closed, we're entering a new 5 minute candle right now, it's either going to shoot right up because we're having this really strong day, but today I know we're below pre-market low. The market was really kind of working itself to the downside. So you short this thing right at what would that be? At 1010, like right at 1010, like almost the start of 1010 or 1011, and you use the clock and then you kind of say, okay, this 5 minute candle, I'm expecting it to at least have a bottom wick that I can expect a move down, and then I can get back out at break even. Or if it does a J line rejection, I can get a great move, and then it makes the new 5 minute low. So that's a whole nother technique. What you're kind of saying, Mac, is just using the clock.
Yeah, the time counter
to
basically.
time things.
Yeah, it's just to be more patient, to wait for it to close, and then give you some sort of idea and direction, you know. And as you say, yeah, you should always have at least a chance to go break even, you know. If not, then you're not really risking that much, you know. If you enter here, I'm not saying like anticipate the move and don't wait till the trend line break or whatever, like enter on every new 5 minute candle. But if you like at the J lines, even if you enter here, you still got this really sort of tight risk. And as you say, you still
definitely.
expect it to drop a little and then give
Yeah,
you
create a bottom wick.
yeah, and then give you chance to sort of break even. If you see then a volume spike, then you
Exactly.
hit it break even or you hit for the tight stop. You know, it's, not all trades gonna work. You just need to accept that.
Yeah. But you don't want to be shorting it at the end of the 5 minute candle, you know? Like if it's right here, 10:09, and then 10:10 we're about to have a new 5 minute candle, don't short it at 10:09, which is right here. This is 10:09. You know, don't be shorting it here. Short it right here when it's making the new low for a new 5 minute candle, and then with your stop loss up here, and then what does it do? You're kind of hoping that it's going to make at least a push down before going higher. If it does, sometimes you'll get squeezed and it'll just shoot right up, and then it makes the new high and then goes lower. But that's where reading the tape is important. So timing, like, is really, really important too. Okay, let's keep moving. Leo, we got your Leo. You with us? I don't know if he is.
I think you mentioned he's taking a nap. I think.
Yeah, he was trading all day.
I have a question since if Leo's not here yet.
Okay, you
Oh.
want me to leave his thing up or on the chart?
It doesn't matter. It's big caps in
Okay.
general.
Hey guys, be right back real quick. Go ahead, Mark, and take over for a minute. One sec, I'm gonna
Oh,
mute
well.
myself.
If there's any big caps who wants to answer this question, but if any of the big caps watch the S&B videos, right, and how they use levels, and based off where they enter and where they exit on the levels, how do you rectify using that and balancing indicators like J lines?
I think what I do on small caps, I think I try to look at points where they coincide. So if I have a level and then I draw those levels, and then if it's like aligns with J lines or whatever, it gives me more sort of conviction.
Right. I think for the small caps, I think trying to find congruence with other factors would matter more. I'm just not entirely too sure with how it works when you go with the trend with like big caps. I'm a lot more like in tune with what small caps does and the price action in regards to that. But I'm so new with the big caps that I'm pretty much a newbie.
I think we need Eric for that.
I know, right? I left at the right time.
He knew a question coming about big caps.
Yeah. So my question is for like big caps, like what size account is the minimum to play big caps? Like not options.
Yeah, I wondered about that too. I feel like I remember when I was over PDT, I was trading big caps a good amount, and I was
What was the size of count?
Yeah.
you took over.
What was your answer, Mark? I didn't hear.
Oh no, I was just saying when I was over PDT, I traded Tesla a lot, and 25,000 was the amount.
Yeah.
However, I feel like with such a small percentage gain that you get from big caps, I wouldn't necessarily mind using leverage in that case, because the moves are so much smaller in percentage versus small cap.
Okay, so this is how I started, you guys. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, these guys, Capital Market Elite Group. I think they're in the Cayman Islands, but I think it was like the Port of Spain or something like that. Because I didn't have the PDT. I wasn't just gonna throw 30, 25, 30 grand into account and be like, yeah, I'm learning how to day trade. So I started with walk your cookies. I started with 500 to 2,000 bucks, and these guys, you open up an account, and it used to be in the Port of Spain. I don't know what it is, but it's essentially having an overseas account, and then you can day trade. I mean, you'll burn it up through commissions. Don't get me wrong, and because you'll be trading small size, but if you put like 500 to probably, I would say 2,000 is better. I mean, you can be day trading, um, like in and out. But the only thing with these guys as your broker is they don't have shorts. But if you want to short like today, it just won't happen. You'll have to do your kind of cash account and be limited on the short side. But if you're in this really great bull market and you're just going long, like I do, like almost 70% of the time I'm going long, this is a great way to get going.
Even the easy to borrow large caps, they don't have shorts for that.
They don't have shorts for it. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe it's changed over the past couple years, but yeah, they just don't. Sometimes they do, sometimes, but if I were you and you're in PDT, I would open up an account for 500 bucks with this thing, 100%, because it's worth it. I mean, you can get in, get out. And if you have a day like Monday where we're going strong, I mean, you can take as many trades as you want. Um, so yeah, these guys are really good. Screenshot that if you want. Capital Markets Elite Group, and yeah, that's how I started day trading. And yeah, I mean, you just are still paying commissions, and then I think if you have over 2 grand in your account, they give you 6-to-1 margins. So I mean, that's plenty of buying power. Um, 6-to-1, that's like what? That's
12,000.
yeah, 12 grand. That's plenty. Plenty,
Eric,
plenty.
did you start with small caps or big caps?
Big caps.
So 6 to 1 with $2,000 would be 12,000. So
Yeah.
that's enough for big caps.
Yeah. So like, let's say we wanted to trade Tesla today. Let's say we're trading at $1,000 a share. You could buy 12 shares. I mean, dude, this thing moves like there's $2 every tick, every candle. It's moving like a whole couple ticks. I mean, there's 24 bucks. So if you took a J line rejection here, like I said, here at 24 bucks, and then you got it all the way down to here 14 bucks, that's 100 with 12 shares. That's 120 bucks. I mean, that's a lot of money for a $2,000 account. I mean, what is that? 120 bucks on $2,000 account. That's
5%.
5%.
10%.
Yeah,
right?
I mean that's great.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I didn't think about the leverage.
So I mean, dude, if you can get 5% on your account every day, you'll be doing pretty well. So yeah, I would recommend giving it a go. I mean, you can open an account for 500 bucks and day trade. So that's how I started with the big caps, but they didn't have any good shorts. So you either got a short in simulation, or um, you check if they have shorts available here.
So I had a question too. If we're done with this question, I asked
Yeah.
earlier. It was more directly towards you too, anyways. How do you balance between using J lines and then using like levels like the S&B with how they teach, right?
Uh-huh.
How do you know which one to depend more over the other?
Well, I mean, the J lines usually work, I would say, especially like a day like today. You know, what you're doing is you're just watching the reaction at that level or at that area, you know, at the J lines, at VWAP, whatever, right? So,
Does that typically coincide with a daily level or a
yeah,
30
look at
minute?
you see these bottoming wicks right here, which I'm
Mhm.
gonna put it right here. Uh, okay, no, we didn't quite make it up to it. So yeah, I mean these. So what I do is I just go through here. I'll put on like actually I'll do it on this chart here, like this. Let's say we're in pre-market, right? Let's back it up. Here we are in pre-market. The day hasn't opened up. So I'll set a level here off of these bottom crazy wicks because sometimes these are key levels. I'll zoom out, look at that VPOC right here. You see this volume node, VPA level. It's right where we put it, right? Maybe right there. Then we've got pre-market low already marked, so I don't need to mark that. Then we've got a level right here. We got a level right here. I put this level here because this is the second VPA um, kind of edge or shelf, as Pete would call it, because we've got a lot of volume that was traded here. And then maybe I'll put one right. I'll probably put one here or here like that. And then I'll just zoom back out a little bit more. And you can see pre-market low held up here. This level where I just drew this edge here, it already lined up right here to this low. And then there we go. So this is the range that we're kind of gonna trade in, and then you can do the same thing to the top side by going now to and maybe I'll like throw a level down here in case we like really go down, and then I'll flip over to the daily real quick. So now I got my kind of resistance and support plus VPA levels marked, and then maybe I'll go and put some daily levels like here. We've got something up here. I'm going to change it the color now because now we got daily levels going here, which this bottom, this top, this top. So if we move higher, we know that 945 is a resistance, and looks like this is today. That was the low of the previous day, which we have that mark, which this low of this day coincides also with this day right here. So then, we've got that. We can go and look at this bottom here and say, okay, let's just mark this low right here too. So now we've got a bunch of levels marked, right? Then we go back to the 5-minute, and now we're about to trade the open. So then, as we, open up, we're just watching what levels are working. Okay, look at that, 931. It also has this. It's hard to see on my screen, but my screen's like a 43-inch 4K monitor. So for me, it's not hard to see, but I don't know for you guys. But there's a gray line right here. That's the 1000 MA on the one. So it ran right here into 930, 1000 MA plus 931, which is the level we marked. So rejection right there. Where did it hold up? This random level that we plotted right here, VPA level or pre-market kind of level here. So it sold down, held up here. And we didn't mark this based on, these candles. We marked it. You guys just saw previously. Then it runs into this. Then it starts to fade down. So now this level right here, 24, not as much interested in it. It just didn't quite work, right? It's still showing that VPOC is here though, this black line with this high volume node here. So we know this level worked, we know this level worked, and we just keep watching. Okay, this level broke and having some high volume there. It's chopping now at this 913, and now we're back up. Now we're back above this level too. So this 913 level that we plot also curled back up. And to top it off, it's not just the level, we have S4 here, which is support for Fibonacci level. And then we keep just cruising along. 918 is now looking like more of a key level to be watching the reaction at. They try to sell it back through here. What happens? It curls back up. The tape probably sped up and was buying. You know, they weren't propping it down. Here we go. Now we're at the J lines, which I think we saw it. There wasn't quite a level there. There was the 1000 MA. There's this 931. There's pre-market low. There's J lines. There's a whole lot happening in this area. We need to get really strong if we want to get above all of that and this 250 MA, which is kind of the 3-minute J line, like the average of the 3-minute J lines. That's why it's the 250. But so for us to go from here higher, we need to see some like crazy strength to break through all this, you know, resistance here, right? So in this case, I mean, you could say that there was no level that we marked, but we had a whole bunch of stuff happening at this 930, plus this like previous high too. And then it starts to go back down. We know that 918 has been important. So if we're shorting it here, we need to probably partial here. We had a previous relative low here. You know, so we want to watch what's going to happen at 918 because it held up 2 separate times. You know, this is a reverse head and shoulder. Shoulder, head, and then shoulder, right? And then we got right through 918. No problems there. Now 913, we chopped here above it in between these 2 levels. Rejects 918 like to the penny, whatever this 918.50 is. Holds up. Now it's back above. And now we're back at the J lines here. So a little bit of a J line rejection there. It kind of got held up here. And then it finally broke back down. So that was a little bit more of a difficult J line rejection to take because you would have got shook. You would have been shorting it here maybe for a 1-minute low. And that would have been a little bit, if you had your stop and didn't partial, you would have been able to hold on. But that just depends on your risk management style.
So you would say, in your experience, though, that both levels of J lines work fairly consistently with one another.
Yeah, I mean, you got to use it all. You know, some days the J lines work, some days they don't. Some days it's not the 1-minute J line that's working. Some days, if you flip to the 5-minute, it's that one that's working. You know, and that's where like Jay does on the crypto. I told you before, like he found that the 4-hour chart with the J lines was like working perfectly. And so the thing with trading is the market's always changing. So you're kind of always adapting to find out what is working at that time. And at certain times, the J lines are going to work on the 1-minute. And at other times, you need to be trading off the 5-minute with wider stop. Sometimes the levels are, you know, the lines and levels are working better. And at other times, it's like there wasn't even a level there, you know? So it's the combination. But as you can see here, it was struggling to get below this 918 level. And this is the same thing you got to do with small caps too, or anything you're trading. So, you know, you're just plotting all this stuff out. And then look what happens when we finally got below.
Well, I was wondering too, like, after you're using all those levels, you're using the J lines, but after all that price discovery that occurs within the first 30 minutes, right? So 10 o'clock, you saw that it rejects J lines, and it's, you know, it looks fairly weak to hold so far. You're still scalping, or are you trying to hold a little bit longer now that there's a trend that?
Well, as the day progresses and you're getting past 10:30, you need to start kind of well, I'm talking to myself, need to start using the 5-minute or 15-minute more, widening the stop a little bit, and allowing things to work. Maybe doing those smaller size feelers if you're not 100% sure, like 25% of your normal size with a really wide stop. So that way, if it does start working, great, you're going to get a little bit of profit. If it doesn't work, maybe you'll find a spot to add into it. Just like I did on AMD, where I took that kind of right here. Right here, it broke down. I was shorting it here right into the 20, which that really wasn't that good. I'm shorting above. but I put in a really small size here with my stop loss here. It pops up because I knew like, okay, we didn't get to the J line. I'm so excited that I want to short this thing that, you know, I can't wait any longer. So at least do it on small size. And then I added more as this thing was getting faded here. And you can see that the time and sales going red, added more here, and then start to peel it all off and ride it down. And you see, I have this like 125 level. I've got this level here that it coincided with perfectly. So like on Tesla, the level that we made didn't run into the J lines, but on AMD, this level, this 127.50, let's see, why did I draw this level? But it ran right into the J line. So I had like a combination here plus pre-market low. So for this thing to go higher, it had to be really strong. So you're kind of like using this combo to have more conviction in the trade. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
So let's see here. I think I kind of just drew a level like this high here that was creating resistance. And then this where it bottomed out here, I drew a level here. 128, which is VPOC, was also pre-market low, so I didn't need to draw that. And then I drew a level here, which was this bottom. Could have drawn a level here, could have drawn a level here. And then if we go back now, whoops. You know what I mean? So here's that. Let's see, we've got this 120, 121, 122 level, which I know it held up. See that we got through this level, punched into it, and then just rolled back over. And then where did we go? Right here to 121, 122, this level, this area. So, you know, using the levels kind of just like I did. That's what you got to do every day, and hope you trade good.
So I have a question, Eric. So in the 1 minute chart, I see that sometimes J using 1 minute J lines, 3 minute J lines, and 5 minute J lines, right? So the 1 minute J lines is 70 to 89, 3 minute is 200, and 5 minute is 1419. Is that correct?
The 3 minutes like 217 and to what's 80 or something. What is it, you guys?
Okay, okay.
Something like that. So I just took the average of the two and called it 250. So this is my 3 minute J lines right here. And then the 5 minute, which is what, the 1000 MA.
Ah, okay.
Am I right on that or am I wrong?
I don't know. I'm just trying to get.
Come on, guys. Jay would be reprimanding us.
I don't even know what the question was.
What is the 3 minute J lines? 217.
Let me check.
Man, you guys got to know this. It's on the test.
Bro, I use that indicator he uses where you just base it off like, oh, it's 1 minute, 89.72, 3 minute, 89.72. So I don't remember on the top of my head.
It's all good.
Let's
Let's see here.
I think that is there somewhere in the. Oh yeah. 216, 267. Let me take a screenshot. This.
It's at the 7 a.m. in the
Oh, today? Okay.
today. Somebody was trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, check out a chart I posted on a trade in the close. Don't have my CL chart marked up. All right, let's go check out Leo's trades. Leo is taking that money from the market right now. He's doing great.
Yeah, so I'm also opening an account with Ninja Trader. So I think, I mean, let's
Oh,
try.
so you're gonna? Yeah,
Yeah.
that is where I actually started, you guys. I started trading the ES, the mini.
Okay.
And that kind of was where I dipped my toe in the water, in the boiling water.
Okay.
And then after that, I jumped in.
I started with the old other way around. I started with options, then stocks. Now I'm going to futures.
Leo, what chart are we looking for here? Into the close on the ES. Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
This one?
No,
Yeah.
no, no. It should be a bunch of it should be a book map chart with a bunch of lines on it,
Oh,
with a bunch of
book map chart?
arrows. Book map chart.
Book map chart.
Did I send it to you? Oh, wait,
Mm,
you're not online.
oh, here. Yeah, no, I keep my
There you go.
account
There you go.
offline.
So that's just a really, really fast markup of my chart, but it kind of explains what my theory and my thoughts were. So I got really chopped up close to the close because I was thinking short because I was watching my TPO chart. My TPO chart looked like they were really long in the tooth. So I was hedging a short.
Longing in the twos, what does that mean?
Long in the tooth means, I mean, short in the hole.
Okay, what does
Or
that
long
mean?
in the tooth. Long in the tooth means they're just stretched out. It's just an expression.
Okay.
Meaning that the longs are just way too long.
Oh, okay.
So I thought if they're not going to hit 4,600 today, then give a shot at a short into the close. Well, my first shot was wrong, and I got stopped out. And then as we came closer to close, I was watching my TPO chart, and they weren't taking that high. And it didn't look like they were going to push to the 4,600 level like they pushed the 4 or 5 past sessions. So I thought, all right, let me take another short again. And sure as heck, then I started watching the sweeps, which is an indicator on Bookmap. And the sweeps were showing exhaustion. And then I took another I took a 3 contract short, and sure as hell did work out. You can see where I took I entered. Well,
Leo, do you have the desktop or are you on the web browser Zoom? Do you have the desktop app?
I think I do.
Okay, so like just so you know, I think on the bottom of your screen it says options. Somewhere on your screen it says option, and then click on that, and then there's a button and it says annotate, and you can draw on the screen.
No, it must be the web.
Okay.
All right, I'll have to download the what.
Yeah, because then you can kind of just like mark up on the fly, just so you know.
Well, anyway, I entered short again because I was watching my TPO chart.
Here,
And yeah, because they weren't taking out the highs. Did I post my? Yeah, I did. I gave you a post of my TPO chart. There you go.
okay. So walk us through this TPO chart one more time.
So, well, I think that's too early. Oh, darn it. I think I gave you the wrong chart. K period is usually a period that'll give you a sense of direction into the close. Okay.
K period.
Yeah, the K
Okay.
period on
Oh, right here.
right there. Yeah, yeah.
What does K period mean? Is that the time of the day?
It's the
or is
time. It's a time. Yes, it's the time of the day. It's that portion of the day in a 30-minute period
that portion of the day
is represents 30 minutes.
in 30 minutes? But so like the letter of
Yes.
the alphabet is the time, the 30-minute
Correct.
time?
Correct. 30-minute periods.
Okay.
So I believe I uploaded the wrong chart to you, but
Okay.
that gives you an idea that, okay, K is above the overnight high. And so if you have volume, you can expect that price will continue higher as it has done for the past 5 sessions. It's just kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I posted the wrong chart, but
All good.
what happened was when we got into M period, and if you want me to, I can try to post that really quick for you. But when we got into M period was stalling out. And M, when it stalled out, that's when I got out of that trade that I thought was going to be a good short. And then I re-entered it once I saw that M didn't hold. And of course, the market tanked. And of course, I got a good trade out of it. But
Did you get that trade here for the end of the day?
Yeah, go back to my other chart,
Okay, let me.
the book map. You can see the trades I made.
Oh, it was this one right here. You got
Yeah.
it.
So look at the triangle, entered short again, sweeps and stops triggered, and then you'll see a triangle for short. No. Go to your, yeah, go to your left.
Left. I don't see any triangles. I see a buying
Entered,
triangle right
entered
here.
short again.
Right here.
There's a, yeah, little bit to the left.
Oh, there it is.
There it
Yeah.
is. That was my short. Okay. And then I exited way down where liquidity was. So that was a killer trade on 3 contracts. That was like,
Yeah.
that was a huge.
Did you hold
trade.
it through all this?
Oh
move
yeah.
down?
Yeah. I
Oh, and you
went all the way
covered
down.
here?
Yeah, that's where I exited.
Beautiful. Exited trade just above liquidity. That's awesome. What gave you the conviction to hold it from here? So you shorted it here, then it chopped.
It
Hold
chopped, it chopped, it chopped. Right. Correct. You can, those triangles on the left side of the screen, which you indicated, yes, that was my initial short.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
then
it
I
just
got,
didn't make the leg down.
it just went sideways, and then
Oh, and
closer,
it stopped you out here.
it stopped me out there, and then I
Oh.
re-entered.
I see. Yeah. Okay, so your stop loss was above this liquidity zone.
Yes.
Okay, and then of course it took it out, and then it faded.
Took
Right.
me out, but
Everybody's stop was there.
I've traded so much that I'm not afraid to get stopped out anymore.
Cool. Yeah. You know, there's a guy, he's got his YouTube channel is called Live Traders. He's a really good trader, this guy. And he has a rule. I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember the name of the rule, but he's allowed to re-enter a trade if it sets up again in the same exact spot. So like if you short it here and your thesis was for it to break down to here,
Yes.
but it stops you out and then it sets up again in the same kind of location, he has a rule that he has to take the trade again.
Well, I don't have to, but I did because everything I was looking at ticks, I was looking at ADX, I was looking at VIX, I was looking at all sorts of indicators, and then I just pushed the button and bam.
Yeah, that's great. So where were you at on the day prior to this trade? Like, were you up on the day, or was it kind of just a whatever day?
My crude trades, I was up like almost $2,400.
Cool.
So this just added to my P&L. This was a last minute trade. I mean,
this was right into the close.
Yes, minutes into the close.
Have you ever shorted and then it like right at the close it just starts to squeeze up like that?
Oh yeah, I've done. Well, okay, so yes, it's happened to me many times, especially when you have a poor high on a TPO chart. Sometimes that poor high will reject and go back lower, or they'll just run right through it and take out all the stops above. So I know there's some people here who don't understand what TPO charts are all about, but they're like one of my main tools that I use for trading because it just gives me a perspective on where I'm at. Okay, so the GHK would have been a poor, well, the GH was a poor high, and then the J made it even weaker. So that's why K ran through it and took out all the stops from the overnight, from previous overnight and today's stop. So those stop, the shorts got overran.
Mhm.
And that's something, and I even posted that in the boiler room. So if you go back to the boiler room, I got a really good explanation as to what I was thinking and what I was seeing.
Now, this TPO chart compared to what OTC uses, which is like a different look, but are they fairly similar in what it's telling
Well,
you? or is
he
it
might be
different?
using a volume profile chart, which, I look at volume profile, but I use volume profile to mark levels. Okay, so I use volume profile to put levels on my charts. I use TPO to give me an idea, sense of direction, trend, what the heck's going on. So as you can see, we were one time framing.
So explain this to me again.
That would
This
be a
was a
poor
weak
high right there,
Why,
GH.
why is it poor? Like, why was
That's
it not a great
because
high?
the buyers were exhausted. That they didn't see value higher, so they retreated. Not that short sellers came in, but value was not valid at that point. It's auction theory. So
So,
what happened
but,
was,
so I can just understand this. This thing makes a new high here like this. It's showing you that in the G
Yep.
period.
Yep.
And then in H, it doesn't make a new high, right? It sells back down.
right, because value with auction theory, the value wasn't valid higher. So they retreated. They felt like value was better down at the where H is at the bottom there. They felt
Okay.
like, okay, we're more comfortable being down here than we are up there.
And then you get the inside bar or
Yep.
inside
Yep.
I, and then a pretty weak. There is no breakout on the J.
Nope. But that
Okay.
but J made G and H even weaker. So then at some point, the buyers thought, okay, well, maybe value is higher. So they pushed it up in K. And they took out the previous Globex session high because they knew there were stops up there.
Okay. Yeah, just rung the stops and then everything.
Yeah.
So this what was what happened after this? Is that what we're not seeing here? The rest
Well,
faded down.
Well, here, let me see if I can.
This is taking me back to elementary school with all these letters.
Let's see if I can find it for you. Oh, my freaking chart doesn't work. Let me see if I can.
Guys, did anyone else have some questions regarding anything today? Some of you guys that are here need to get your mic going because this is not like, I want more people to participate. I'd really enjoy that. I know that some of you guys are still learning how to trade and all that, but I'm telling you, speaking up and kind of talking amongst the group, it's the way to go. And, don't ever feel embarrassed if you had a bad day or if you're just still figuring it out or you're worried about asking some not intelligent question. Don't worry about that because we were all there not long ago. So, yeah, some of you guys that are here, I'd really like you to participate, just so you guys know.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'm learning big cap, so I'm going to be asking a lot of simple questions to Eric. So be
So
prepared.
there we go.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'll have this chart up for you.
Yeah, you're good.
1 minute here, just do a snap. Snag it.
Yeah, like for some of you guys that aren't comfortable with some of the setups, that's what this group started with is we started it to discuss the setups and make sure we all kind of knew how to trade
Okay.
and do things. So
Check my chart out now. You'll see why I took the trade and how far it went down.
okay, so we've got the K, who's where we stopped. The L actually and M went up
L took out more stops. M took out more stops. That's where I got stopped out, was an M.
right up here. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like to the
Yeah,
P,
yeah.
right?
and then I took it short again.
Yeah. When this thing started moving down. But how how do you know if it's gonna keep moving up? Obviously, this isn't quite
You
a
don't
balanced.
you don't know, but
know.
that's why I have book map and volume
Mhm.
and order flow. That's
Isn't-
what gives me the conviction as to whether I'm either screwed as a short or that thing's just gonna keep going up like it has for the past 5 sessions. I mean,
Mhm.
every close has been just nothing but brutal on the shorts.
Yeah.
But this is the first time where the shorts actually got something out of it. Oh, and then also you had a news where Biden is sending 3,000 troops to Europe, and you had an MOC uh, market on close, which was kind of pathetic. So I felt like, okay, I'm gonna take my shot.
Cool. Yeah. Good. This, what I've researched before, this is more of a healthy kind of. This is the previous day?
That's a value building. Okay, that's Globex. That's above the so if you go to the where the P is to your left, that is the previous session. And then overnight they built value.
Mhm.
So now we have value built based on the Globex session. And we can either stay here or we can reject from 4,600 and we can go all the way back down.
Mhm.
So
So in the Globex section, you don't
That's-
have value area, right? Like 70% value. You
could
have
put-
close, have open, close, and POC.
yeah, it's all there. It's all there.
POC, but do you pay attention to value area? Like
No,
70%?
not during Globex.
Okay.
Only during real-time session do I pay attention to value area, because there's some actually really good trades between value area low, value area high.
Yeah.
And then if you break the low or you break the high and you come back in, then you can expect to move back down to either the low or the high, depending on
Yeah.
what direction there is. But
Yeah.
no, during Globex, no. During Globex, I usually put on a couple of trades and go to bed. Put on a really wide stop. But and I'm trading micros during Globex, not real time.
So this today is open, just one take lower than the Globex close, right?
Was this the
Open.
close of the Globex and this is where it opened?
Yeah,
Yes,
this is right.
that's
And
correct.
it's what is the sign? The sign is should be
Well,
bullish or bearish.
well, no. So during the Globex session, you're going to have traders either really long or short. And usually what will happen is when the real-time session opens, you're going to find correction. You're going to find
Oh yeah,
the markets are going to try to correct what the overnight did. So wherever, and I usually don't trade the first 30 minutes because it's just too wild, but I do have, it gives me a sense of, oh, are they going for the overnight low or are they going for the overnight high? If they go for the overnight high, can I short it? Or do they go for the overnight low? Can I long it?
Yeah. So they will after the market open, it will retest the Globex high or low.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of testing going on. And then last night, it's not posted, but when I went to bed, I put on a trade just above, okay, like where the Globex opened. Okay, it opened at 50 or 4552. I was
Mhm.
thinking, oh my gosh, look at all the single prints from the previous session, a lot of poor structure from below. I was thinking, okay, I'm going to go short because I think they need to repair that before they go higher. Well,
Mm.
I was really wrong. And so
Oh.
I got stopped out. And then when I got stopped out, I just woke up in the morning and figured, okay, I'll take a new trade. But as you
Yeah.
can see, my conviction was to try to repair the poor structure from
Yeah.
the previous day.
Lily,
The
that
previous they go very high, and the Globex open on the top of the previous day, right?
Yeah, so that's the
Yeah.
previous day right there.
Yeah.
So
yes.
as you can see, there's a lot of single prints. You see the
Right.
squares
Right.
around the marks.
Yeah.
Those are all single prints. It's very poor structure, it's very low volume.
Yeah.
Those are areas where price can just run through.
Yeah.
And that was my thesis
Yeah.
before I
Should
went to
be.
bed. Yeah, and so
Yeah.
they took it out today, but
Okay.
I was expecting that to happen last night, and it didn't.
Oh.
So I got stopped out.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Lily, have you been studying more kind of
Yeah,
order
I
flow
watched
and some
some
of this?
YouTube videos after Leo, introduced market profile to our group. So I'm interested in that. So I
Yeah.
watched a few videos, had a little bit idea.
Cool.
So Lily, okay, now that I understand, we've had a couple of conversations back and forth on private, but now I understand who you are, and yes, it's really interesting. I mean, if you
Yeah,
learn,
very interesting. Yeah.
if you learn market profile, and I've been doing this since 2013,
Wow.
you can just, it's like a tool. It's just like
Mhm.
it really it provides clarity to my trading.
Yeah.
And it's not for everybody because it takes a really long time to learn this stuff.
Yeah.
So do you think people use market profile to trade stock? Instead, I watched the video, people always use that for index trading, like future trading.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the TPOs work really good on
Stock, real stock.
no stocks. No,
No.
absolutely not.
Oh.
Oh, you don't think that this would be good on like something like Tesla or whatever?
They can, but it's really hard to set your chart up so that it works with the volatility of the stock, because the volatility here is based on like each one of these letters represents 2 ticks. So if you're trading Netflix, which trades hundreds of ticks in a second, you're not going to get a good profile.
Okay.
So, and I've tried it before, and it works really good on crude, soybeans,
Oh.
the
Yes.
ZB. You really you kind of have to crunch it down for NQ, RTY. That works good there, but it doesn't work good for every market. That's why I stick. That's why I stick
Okay.
to basically just a couple of markets where this works.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to learn this, but then I found Bookmap, and so I went.
Well, I learned this before I had
different, but-
Bookmap, and
Yeah,
I've been a
wasn't-
member of Bookmap since version, I think 1.5,
Yeah.
and now we're up to 7.
Yeah,
Well-
I was like on Sierra Chart, and I'm like, all right, I think I'm gonna do this. And then I found Bookmap, and no one was using Bookmap
No.
a couple years ago. And then eventually I found like Jay's room, and he was like the only guy using Bookmap. And I'm like, man, Bookmap is just the best for as kind of a supplement to the level 2. It's not quite the footprint, but
if you can use
help.
this in conjunction with Bookmap, you've got a freaking hell of a great trading plan. I mean,
How much is this every month?
it's nothing. I purchased an indicator that I put on NinjaTrader, and yeah, I mean, there it is. But I will say, I did use a program called WinTrader, and I used it for probably 5 years, and it was very expensive, but it taught me everything I needed to know. And that was only because I was learning how to work with market profile through James Dalton. I'm not trying to, push anybody towards another resource, but that's how I learned how to work with this. And so now I outgrew the subscriber portion of TPO charts, and then I bought an indicator from
Win.
from
NinjaTrader.
no, it's
Also, Leo, about NinjaTrader, because I used to use it as well. They have a tool where you can build automated, kind of like almost algorithmic trading. Have you ever tested any of those?
nope.
Yeah, 'cause
I'm scared.
I kind of wanted to, because you start just building an automated trading system, and they have all these like different scripts that people like sell, and then you can kind of modify it. But yeah, that's where I will eventually do that. I still got a ways to go with my trading, but you can build, I think, some really cool automated trading systems with NinjaTrader.
Oh, totally.
So okay,
So,
guys.
so my indicator is from a company called Rancho Dinero. It's called Acme Rancho Dinero, Acme indicators for NinjaTrader 8. But I wouldn't recommend that you get that until you get a really professional TPO profile, like from WinTrader. If you look them up, I used them for years. It cost me money, but I had trades where I can just justify the cost. But it's such a really good program. So if you're going to learn this stuff, go online, look up James Dalton, look up, time price profile charts, and try to learn it. But JTrader's got a good system going, so you don't need this stuff to be a successful trader. So don't think that I'm trying to offer something here that y'all need. You don't, because JTrader's got a system that we can all work with. It's just a tool that I've learned for many years, and I've incorporated into what JTrader's doing, and it's working. So
do you trade the J line rejection?
oh yeah,
Okay.
my favorite trades are J lines and EMAs right now, and they're working really good. And I also confirm. So basically, I have a TPO chart, which is a 30-minute chart, but it's my long-term chart, and it's up all the time. So if I'm too focused on a very small time frame chart, all I have to do is glance over at my 30-minute chart and figure out what the heck's going on. And JTrader called me out on it today because he was watching a crude trade that I was doing, and he said, "Hey, dude, well, he didn't say that, but I think he was implicating that, hey, dude, you're in a good place right now. Look at your longer term chart." And sure enough, I was long on a CL trade, thinking I was going to take it to 89 when we were right close to 88. He goes, "Look at your 1 hour chart." Sure enough, we were in a bear flag, and I brought that up, and sure enough, I got out at 88, and then the market dropped. So yeah, and that was also a TPO chart that I had up too. So I was watching it, but I wasn't as aware when he brought that up to me. So he kind of saved me some ticks today.
It's good.
And if you're in the mentoring program and you have that and you have access to that chat room, look at it. You'll see what he was saying to me.
Yeah, I saw him mentioning that. Okay, guys, any final questions? Any final thoughts?
All good on me.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Good. Good. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you guys.
All right.
Thank you. Nice to
Alright.
meet you, Lily.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Well, guys,
Bye.
Lily.
keep
Bye.
it green and finish out the week good. If you're getting beat up this week and you're having red days, then you should probably size down the next couple of days. Just throwing that out there, because that's kind of a good risk management technique for managing the week, not just saying, oh, where am I at on the day? So, yeah. Have a good rest of the week, you guys, and hit me up if you need me. And keep it green.
Keep an eye on the ES. I think we're going down.
Yep, we're getting that J line rejection. Yeah, I was kind of like had a little FOMO because I wanted to buy some stuff for my long term portfolio, but I knew we'd make another reattempt
Ah,
towards
if we
maybe
didn't
not the
break
complete bottom.
4600, no way. But now we're there and we're rejecting, and you got systemic news
Mhm.
that's now making things easier.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, have a great one.
Bye-bye.
See ya.